time is flying and we've reached the end of the month already, and that means it is time for our channel update for the month of January. Coming up. Hi and welcome back to the Underwater Filmmaking School. Thank you so much for tuning in again. My name is Matthias, and if you're new here to the channel, feel free to have a look at all the playlists that we have available here on the channel and all the tips and tricks that we have for you when it comes to learning how to properly film underwater. Now, in today's channel review, we want to talk about what is new here on the channel and what you can expect to change or come up on this channel in the next couple of months. I want to start off with a sad message really, because we have decided that we don't want to start our own underwater video competition. We brought that up in the past channel update and asked you guys whether or not you were interested in actually competing in an online underwater video competition. Sadly, we only got a handful of replies to that of people being interested, and it just doesn't justify the time that we would put into creating such a underwater video competition. It's not completely off the table, I can say this much, but for this time being right now, we've decided not to go any further with these plans. I'm very excited to announce that we have decided to create an online underwater videography course. Actually, we are going to make two courses. There's going to be one for beginners, people who have no experience filming underwater, and there's going to be a separate course for advanced shooters that want to improve their shooting techniques when it comes to filming underwater. Now, we're in the process of creating those courses right now, and they should be available for pre-sale sometimes towards the end of March. There is actually going to be a special pre-order sale for all my Patreons that support the channel through my Patreon page. If you guys want to jump onto this ship and make sure that you can secure the discount as a pre-order, make sure to hop over to my Patreon account, sign up for one of the tiers, one of the supporter packages there, and you'll be able to get a discount on these courses once they come out towards the end of March. Another thing that I'm very excited to share with you guys is that we're planning on actually starting a monthly live stream. Now, the first one will most likely happen towards the end of February, and then we'll do one each month. Now, these live streams, they are meant to be a platform for all of us to connect and to share our experiences when it comes to filming underwater. I will always be in those live streams personally, and you can ask me anything connected to underwater videography during those sessions. Let me know down in the comment section below if you're interested in actually joining these live streams, if you find that a good idea, and what topics would be interesting to you to be covered in those live streams. If you've been a regular watcher of this channel, you guys know how much this community and every single one of you mean to me. And I feel like I want to give something back to you. So I've come up with the idea of creating LUTs, presets for your underwater video footage that can help you in color correct and color grade your underwater video files. Now, I'm really curious to hear from you guys if this is something that you would appreciate, if it is something that would help you in your creative process of creating underwater videos. And if that's the case, please do also let me know down in the comment section below what camera types you're using and what profiles, picture profiles you're using on those cameras, so that I can create the appropriate LUTs that work with those cameras and those picture profiles. Before we get to the Q&A section, I've got one last thing for today's channel update that I want to mention to you guys, and it is a product that our partner Fantic has just launched recently. It is a microfiber cloth. It's actually not a cloth, it's more like a towel, which is a nice size that you can use to dry out your underwater camera housings. It is a high quality microfiber cloth that will just soak up all the moisture that is basically around your underwater camera housing. And I was curious to find out if this is something that you guys would enjoy having and using. And if that's the case, just let me know down in the comment section below. I might be able to get a good deal from our friends at Fantic and be able to supply you guys with some of these microfiber towels in the near future. So let me know if this is something that is of any interest to you, and I'll see what I can organize for you guys. And before we wrap up today's channel update, we have a couple of questions, so we'll jump right into the Q&A section. The first question that we've got is from a follower called Lebo, and he or she asks about the 180-degree rule when filming underwater, whether this is something that I follow and in what situations I would be choosing the 180-degree shutter rule when shooting underwater. Now this is a fairly big topic, and I would actually like to make a specific video just about that, but I can tell you this much: yes, I do follow the 180-degree rule when it comes to the shutter speed when filming underwater. I use that for pretty much all my shots underwater. A situation where I would not choose the 180-degree rule, or where I would go to a different shutter speed, is when I'm shooting displays underwater. For example, a computer display, a camera display, something like that, where I don't want to have some flickering on my images. There, I would really just fine-tune the shutter speed so I don't get a flicker on the images that I record. The second question today comes from a viewer called Reserved86, and he wants to know which camera produces the best result underwater, the GH5 for stabilization or the GH5S for low light. And it's exactly as you say, these two cameras, they are good for different reasons. The GH5 with its in-body 5-axis in-body stabilization is fantastic if you want to shoot handheld underwater, and you can even shoot macro handheld underwater as long as your buoyancy is kind of decent, and you will get quite okay results with that because the in-body stabilization just works very, very well. Now, on the other hand, the GH5 is not particularly suited for low light shooting. So if you don't have enough light with you, let's say you're shooting, well, at night, or you're shooting when it's overcast, you don't have a lot of underwater video light output with you, going to be difficult to get good results, because I personally wouldn't go any higher than 1600 on the ISO when we shoot with the GH5. On the other hand, the GH5S is perfect when it comes to shooting in low light. You can crank up the ISO easily to 6400 and you'll still get very good quality images out of your shots, out of your recordings. But obviously the GH5S does not have in-body stabilization, so it's going to be a lot tougher to get stable shots. So to answer your question, it really depends what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to shoot in low light situations, I would go with the GH5S. If you're trying to shoot primarily handheld, maybe even macro stuff handheld, then I would go with the GH5. The next question we've got today comes from Steve Michael, and he wants to know which camera will grow with a diver's skill level better, the TG6, the Olympus TG6, or a GoPro. Now my personal opinion is that I would go for the TG6 here. Simply because you can actually do a lot more manual controls on a TG6 than what you can do on a GoPro. Yes, you have plenty of accessories that you can use with a GoPro as well, but the manual controls are very limited on a GoPro. And if you're in the process of getting better in filming underwater and processing through that, through these steps, at one point you will want to use more manual controls, and there you're very limited with the GoPro models, and you have a lot more options with the TG6 camera styles there. So I would definitely go for the Olympus TG6 in this situation. And the last question that we'll look at today comes from Luis Guilarans. Excuse me for probably not pronouncing your name correctly. Luis asks for a review about the Vaquita, the Paralens Vaquita. Luis, I'm very sorry I have not been able to make a review about the Vaquita. I've been onto the Paralens team for probably about a year now, trying to get my hands on a Vaquita so I can test it and review it for you guys, but they haven't managed to supply me with a Vaquita so I can actually test it in real life. But if you're eager to see test footage and reviews about the Vaquita, I recommend the channel of my good friend Brian Davis from Brian Davis Scuba. We'll link it up here in the corner. He's got an entire playlist with Vaquita reviews. He's tested the Vaquita in all different ways and has come up with a lot of sometimes quite surprising results when he was testing the Vaquita camera. So feel free to go over to his channel, check it out, say hi from me, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of valuable information out of his videos about the Vaquita there. And that's it. No more to say for the time being from my side. Hopefully you got a bit of an insight into what is happening here on the channel. And as always, please do not forget to hit that like button. You know, it means a lot to us. And also consider subscribing to the channel so you're not missing out on all the action and all the cool stuff that is going to be happening here on the channel in the near future. Thanks again for your time. Have a fantastic morning, afternoon or evening, depending when you're watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.